I know you're ready. You've got this.
I love racing games. I've been playing them since I was a little kid, and I still play them now. I love cars, I love video games, and it's just this perfect thing that sits in the middle, right? So I'm really pumped for Forza Motorsport. The new one's coming out on October 10. So this little showcase here is one that came out after the main Xbox showcase, and I just wanted to take a look through it with you guys because there's some really cool stuff that's happening here. This is the kind of stuff that is going to potentially change Forza for the better in a big way because, well, I recently jumped into Forza Motorsport 7 to sort of, refresh my memory a bit on where we're at and, where we're headed, and that game has some problems. That game has some serious issues with its AI, and look, it actually, I was surprised at how beautiful that game still looks. That is a last-gen game, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I used to have a Golf like that. That was my first car. Forza Motorsport 7 highlighted a lot of problems. It's a game that just was plagued from the beginning, and it had a lot of potential, and then it just did some weird stuff. Let's not talk too much about those mods that gave me a headache. So there's a lot going on there. That game still looks great. It's beautiful. That makes me think that this new game is really just going to visually blow us away because it's a big step up from that game. And there's some nonsense going around online about people saying, it doesn't look that great in the latest stuff they showed compared to the first stuff. Listen, that's what Kyalami looks like, alright. I've been there many times. I'm South African. I'm pumped that this game is going to have Kyalami in finally. I've wanted it forever. I even wrote, no kidding, before Kyalami nearly got bought up and turned into a bunch of office blocks, I wrote an email to Turn 10 and I asked them to please, pretty please, come to South Africa and scan Kyalami and put it into Forza games to immortalize it before it's gone forever, because there's some serious history in that track. I mean, in 1993 I watched Senna and Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill and all of them race around that track. Either way, I'm not saying that had anything to do with why it's in the game now, but it is in the game now, and that makes me happy. So let's get moving on to this new Forza and stop thinking about old things. So this new Forza Motorsport is supposed to be some sort of a reboot, right? It's not a Forza Motorsport 8, it's just Forza Motorsport. They're going back to the original name. Now, they've not really rebooted things as such, but what they have done is they have sort of relooked at some of the core systems here, and these things is what really made me sit up and pay attention, because I was wondering if we're just going to get another Forza, what are they going to do? I actually predicted a while back and was wrong that, after COVID and all this esports stuff, Forza was really out of the conversation. Like, no one was talking about it when everyone was in lockdown and people were playing like Assetto Corsa and F1 and Gran Turismo. It was all over. No one was talking about Forza because it just doesn't compete with them. So I thought they were going to go way heavier in a sort of sim direction this time around, because they've got Horizon to keep things sort of fun so that they can be a bit more serious in Forza Motorsport, but it looks like they're still going with what they wanted to go with, which is, simcade, sure, but I think maybe they are going to lean a little bit more in the sim direction, which will make me happy. So here we are on Kyalami, approaching the final corner before the long straight, and visually, this time of day is a little bit better than the one they show a bit later, because the one they show a bit later is quite ugly, and I have no idea why that's what they decided to show when they could show anything, especially like a bright middle of the day. Nothing looks good in the middle of the day. Ask any photographer. It's not a great time, especially on a completely cloudless day. What I am really liking here is that it looks like there's a bit more of a focus on driving well, rather than driving like an absolute moron that gets to the front from last place and smashes everyone around to get first place in the career modes. And if you look in the corner now, you can see that there are these bit of level ups that you do corner by corner, because they want the car to level up every single corner so that you can, it keeps you focused on doing well all the time and keeping your interest up in sort of driving well. And this is a good thing, because I think that this is going to bring this a bit closer to how it feels when you play something like Gran Turismo, where you're thinking about your braking points and turning points and your clipping points and, getting a nice smooth corner out and not just smashing your way around. Now, going up towards the mine shaft, or the corner before the mine shaft, they're going to stop the car now to show more of this weather system and this dynamic system that they got going. So they're going to park the car here at the top, and you're going to get a good look now. And then just a reminder that this game, to my knowledge, this is the first time they've fully done this. There's a full day-night cycle now. There's going to be dynamic weather and all these things, and I think that's going to be really cool. I mean, of course, you can see in front of you here, it makes quite a big difference to everything you're seeing in terms of lighting and so on. And yeah, it's going to be really cool to see what it's like if there's going to be, rain interfering with races, dry lines and rubbering in and all these sorts of things. So that's very cool. And it looks like they're still doing this thing, by the way, in the replays and so on, that they've always done with Forza, which is the moment it cuts to replays and things, it switches to like 30 frames a second, and then it throws on the extra effects and things. I've always liked that, because I like the fact that, you're watching, so you may as well make it a bit more cinematic and crank up the visuals. Okay, so this is very important. So what's happening here is that they are showing us that now, and this is one of the things that are going to make a big difference. You can choose how you want to challenge the grid. You can say, I want to start all the way up at the top, but I want it to be super difficult and realistic, because I want to be like in a real race. I want to try and see, can I hold my position in fourth, or can I maybe work really hard to just sort of get that podium, or take the win, or defend from behind. Or if you like, and that's what you want, you can start at the back, set it to easy, and just smash your way all the way through to the front, because, that's what you want. And I really like this, because I think that by doing this, they're going to cater to a wider audience, and they're going to allow people like me who want to have a nice, clean, tight race to be able to do that, and to have the people who just want a more sort of arcadey fun experience to do that as well. Again, Gran Turismo nails this so well that when you're in a race, you want to focus more on having clean lines and getting out to the front and feeling like you've earned it. And they mentioned in this as well that they're not using any trickery anymore. There's not going to be any rubber banding and stuff like that. They were saying, if you're pulling a car on the straight, it's because you're pulling it. So I like this a lot. I mean, if you look at the way we're about to see some racing now around Kyalami again, and the cars are side by side, so there's some tight racing, there's some hard racing, but it's not crazy racing. It's not bashing and crashing and smashing from this demo anyway, and I hope this carries through, but this is what they're saying is the case. They are saying that you're gonna work harder to race clean. There's gonna be things that affect your profile and so on, and I love this. I love this because, again, I will jump into Forza Horizon when I want to go a bit crazy and have a bit more fun, but when I'm on the track, I want to have a track experience, and I want to feel like I felt when I go to track days at the real Kyalami, when I'm busy chasing someone around these very corners, and you feel so good when you just get a corner just right and you feel yourself pulling them on the straight because you got the better exit, and not because you smashed into someone and knocked him off and then took his position. So this is a big deal, and I think this is going to change a lot. Again, playing Forza Motorsport 7 recently, it was okay, but it just doesn't offer a really good racing experience and a realistic racing experience in terms of what you genuinely, the flow of what a real race is like, how it feels to try and keep a position or try and slowly work and chip away at the guy in front of you, rather than just have a sort of crazy, Need for Speed race. Now, here is the rewards that I was talking about that unlock when you drive well and you level up, because this is a huge part of the new game, and I love this as well. They want you to become really close to your vehicles. They want you to form a bond with them. They want you to unlock parts for that car and then add those parts and then build that car up over time, so that this reminds me of my days playing Gran Turismo 1 and 2 and 3 and back then, where you would sort of start your career and you would add an exhaust, and then you would be an idiot and you would say, I'm going to put a turbo on because I want my car to be faster, and then for the next series you'd have this undrivable car that was way too fast for its own good and had terrible brakes and tires. And ultimately you would add those things to try and fix it up, and oopsie, let me rather put on some decent brakes, let me put on some tires. And over time I knew that if I would have a Skyline, and that was my Skyline. And to this day, years, we're talking, since Gran Turismo 4, we're talking like nearly 20 years down the line, or whatever it is, I still remember my yellow Skyline, my R30, I think it was a 33. I loved it. It was mine because I built it up and I played with it and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed winning in it because it, and I took ownership of it, and that's what I'm hoping they're going to do with that's what I'm hoping they're going to achieve, because they want to achieve it, and I hope that they do. I want to get, sure, there's something like 500 cars in this game. It's going to be great to go and get all of them and play all the different series, but I really like the idea that you might get this handful of cars that become really close to your heart, especially with the designs and all these things. And really just give you a more sort of personal relationship with these cars. I think that's great. So cool. That's the end of our chat through this demo that they showed off. I love it. I think it's going to look great. I think that I really love the new mentality going in, the new idea of building up your cars, of hard racing, and being able to cater to what you want. I'm pumped for this. I don't know how you guys feel. So jump into the replies or the comments and let me know, how do you feel about this? Do you think that they're on the right path? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you not interested at all? I'd like to hear from you. But thanks for watching. This has been fun to talk through with you guys. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and then subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. You can see more. We've got some great games still coming in 2023 that we're going to be covering. We've covered a lot already. Yeah, thanks again. We'll see you soon. Cheers.